Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very long-awaited video on JoySparkleBS. This one's a long one. Grab some popcorn, grab some alcohol if you're of age, grab some root beer, turn your listening ears on. Hopefully your eyes didn't get melted by the eclipse, and you'll be able to see what I showcase in this video. But before we begin, it's really important that we start from the very beginning. How did I come across JoySparkles? Well, it just so happens that we had a common enemy on the YouTube platform. The one and only Poo, also known as Ascenision. When JoySparkles first started her channel, I came across her very small channel. I think she had roughly under 3,500 subscribers at the time. But somebody sent me a video that she did on Ascenision. I was like, wow, I agree. This was a really good first few videos, like 2 or 3 videos that she made on Ascenision. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was, a normal Ascenision video. A lot of people on YouTube make videos, responses to Ascenision. However, over time, I noticed something. After I promoted her, she got a couple thousand subscribers from it, because I made another Ascenision video response myself. I saw a behavior which kind of just put me off. I didn't really think anything of it, but I just noticed that she started making a shit ton of Ascenision videos. And not just like over the course of my time on here on YouTube since 2009, I've made 18 videos. That's about 2 videos per year on Ascenision. But in the matter of like 2-3 months, she had made over 100 videos on Ascenision. And yeah, I was a bit taken back. That's a lot of videos to publish out about the smallest, littlest details you can possibly imagine. But again, I just ignored it because it's like, we have a common enemy here. We don't like this person. He doesn't like us, So Ascenision, So the time goes on, and then a new story breaks out on YouTube, and that is the Daddy of 5 case. And this is where it gets interesting. So originally, Joy made a few videos on Daddy of 5, just like I did. I think I have 1 or 2 videos on the Daddy of 5 issue. I didn't really think anything of it. Joy's talked about it, didn't really have a problem with her doing that. Until I started noticing the same trend yet again, the same behavior. At this point, this is where my flag, my red flag, was blinking in front of me. Blinking. Flags don't blink, they wave. Waving in front of me. And I'm like, okay, let's check out some of her Daddy of 5 videos. And 1 video turned into 3, 3 videos turned into 5, 5 videos turned into 10, 10 turned into 20, 20 turned into 30, 30 turned into 40. A lot of Daddy of 5 videos. Now, I'm not criticizing people making lots of videos, but something that I should mention here is that a lot of videos were being split up into different parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, which is, it's not wrong. I'm not saying lots of videos is wrong. What I'm saying is that information over the smallest, tiniest little details were being conveyed all in different videos. And thus, if you split videos up in a bunch of different chunks, people are going to come in confused and not know exactly what's going on. People are not going to be able to see part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. They're just not going to be able to see that. It's best to do one big, long video. But in any case, it eventually got to the point where Joy started saying this.
I will not be talking about what happened in court Friday or today. I did say, hey, I sat and I had a moral dilemma. And I thought to myself, I can sit here and I can release stuff. I can sit here and I can say things, but not going to because I'm afraid that could jeopardize the children. Yeah. Everybody keeps talking, and I've shut up, and they're screaming, shut up, you can't talk. Well, I've stopped talking from my choice, but you're still talking. It's insanity. Toad says, then don't even say you can say stuff. What does it know? I'm putting out there that I have the freedom of speech right now. I have every right to say things. The gag order has nothing to do with me. I can say whatever I want, and I can say that I can say whatever I want.
This is the part where I started to take a step back and really critically think and take an observation about some of the things that she was doing. Because whether or not she had legal or illegal information, the point is, she kept saying on her YouTube channel that she has information on this case, which has a gag order on it, which means you can't talk about it, which could potentially, if you did talk about something about the case, could potentially be used against the people who are currently ongoing in the case. And the reason that I blocked her, since Joy likes to tell the story of why I exactly blocked her in her own interpretation, but this is why I blocked Joy on Twitter, is because of that phrase. I have information on this case, but I'm choosing not to speak about it. How you got that information, what information that is, I don't know. I don't really care, but you claim to have information when there was a gag order put on place. So what did I do? I blocked her. Because I don't want to be associated, I did not want to be associated with somebody Whether or not she did something illegal or not, I didn't want to be associated with somebody who could potentially jeopardize a case, and I didn't see a reason why she needed to keep saying that. I have information on this case, but I'm not talking. I have information on this case, but I'm not talking. I don't know. It was a red flag for me, and that's why I blocked her, because, again, I didn't want to be associated with anybody that could potentially jeopardize a legal case. But there's also another reason that I blocked her, and that's the biological mother of Emma and Cody. Are you worried about Joy? I'm worried that if she has information on this case and I piss her off, she might come after. She keeps saying she has information and I don't know what she has, and I don't want to lose my kids because of unstable people. Now, when I saw this from Rose, the biological mother of Emma and Cody, the rightful mother of the two kids in the Daddy of Five case who were being physically abused, that's when I said, okay, you know what, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with Joy Sparkle anymore, because if the mother doesn't want this person continuing to make a gazillion videos on her, and the mother thinks that she's unstable, then I think I'm in full right to block her, and that's why I blocked her. I hope this gives you a good understanding, a good context of the situation for why I blocked her and why I didn't want to talk to Joy, because whether she did or did not have information doesn't matter to me. I blocked her because of this type of concerning behavior. It's red flag behavior. That's why I did it. It's plain and simple. So now that that's out of the way, let's jump into the meaty part of this video. And that is regarding JoySparkleBS's past. Everybody has a past. The difference is, are you going to be honest with that past? Are you going to talk about that past? Or are you going to try to ignore it like it never happened? My problem with somebody's past is if they don't learn from the past, if behaviors that they had in the past are still exhibited in the future, that's concerning to me, and that's why I'm responding. That's why I'm making this video. This is the part where I recommend you turn your listening ears on. Hopefully your eyes aren't destroyed from the eclipse. So if you search up what the Indigo movement is, one of the first links you get is from a website which Kati posted on. Children that have been diagnosed with ADHD, ADD, and autism have actually been misdiagnosed. They state that there are actually indigo children who have been given these labels simply due to a lack of understanding by professionals. They encourage parents of such children to fight against this by turning down medication for their children or any therapy suggested or any special education. Basically, they suggest that there is no such thing as ADHD, ADD, autism, and parents should simply let their indigo child develop in their own way. The movement, and this is a key point here, also dismisses mental health problems. As well as children, adults are targeted on the issue. We have indigo children, crystal adults, star children, but basically it all revolves around the same idea that people are born with indigo aurora around them. Both children and adults in the movement suggest that people with many mental health issues, especially bipolar, are actually indigo, and they should not enter into any form of treatment, be it medication or any other therapy. So now that we got that out of the way, let's begin.
But so going forward, and I don't know how much you remember about this because, you only speak with a lot of people. You should only remember me. But, a few months ago when I had called in, I was talking about the benefits that I started this program. It was hydrogen, oxygen, vegetable peroxide. I know I just like that.
The oxygen therapy stuff, yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to kind of give a bit of an update. So a couple things happened. So I had been sick from the middle of October until literally about a month and a half ago, and I finally beat what I had. I'm still not quite sure what it is, but I just kind of want to give a little bit of the gamut of what happened. So what was happening to my body, there were a couple things. I was having these very intense chest pains, and it literally felt like a mini heart attack, and I kept going into this subpar ER because it's the only one I can afford insurance in at the moment, and they keep not finding anything. And the other thing, too, was that it was feeling like no matter how much I ate or what I ate, my body was not absorbing nutrition. So I started gaining weight, that like nothing was working, nothing was helping. And so it got to this really exhausting point. Well, a couple things. I did the the oxygen therapy, and I wanted to kind of say a couple things about it because if anytime I kind of promote something, I want to make sure I give like the goods and the bads to it. So it worked, and I was so happy to say that it worked because as you guys probably know if you've been through stuff, the healing process is really interesting because sometimes you'll start feeling worse and it's actually, you're getting better. Like it's like sometimes the point where you're feeling worse is like something's dying off. And so the whole time. In fact, I couldn't finish it. You're supposed to do a month cycle of it. And it was very, very difficult for my body. My body's very sensitive. So one thing I want to tell people is if you ever looked into doing oxygen therapy like I was doing with this vegetable hydrogen peroxide, be very careful because you just have to really feel it inside of your body. I literally just did the absolute bare minimum I could. And I was, and I got really distraught and discouraged through it because it seemed like it was working, but it wasn't quite working. And so I'm really happy to say, though, a couple things that I was in a point where I was sick every other week. I'd be hit with I don't know what it was. It felt like a virus that I just could not get out of my system, and it's finally gone. I've finally gone 6 weeks, completely not getting sick. I can't tell you how good that feels, number one. Okay, number two, there was something else I wanted to bring to people's attention. So the chest pains, also, it got better, but then it got worse. And the issues I was having with food and digestion got worse. The reason I'm calling in, sorry, I know this is kind of wordy, but I know that a lot of times, a lot of people like us, we tend to get, I don't like the word tested, but I'll use it because I'm just not smart enough to have another word, but we have the universe throw stuff at us, or we put ourselves even in situations to learn from, and it can get tough. And the second thing I wanted to make sure and say to everybody is no matter what you're going through with your body, and believe me, like I had a tumor one time that I had for a year on my neck that was killing me, that I was told it could not be operated on, I would die. If I didn't get rid of it, I'd die. I've had all these crazy things happen with my physical body. And I have learned from these experiences, you literally can heal anything. And the biggest thing is you have to get to that breaking point and go inside of yourself and say, okay, what's actually going on here? And of course, what I have learned for myself, it always ends up being emotional. Like, it always ends up being some emotional thing that you are not looking at that ends up manifesting. And that's what it was for me. And you discover all these things. But I just really want to stress to people, do not ever give in to anybody that tells you you can't heal yourself, and don't give in to any diagnosis. You can heal anything. You really can. It's all about getting the will to find a cure and getting humble in yourself and saying, how have I created this, or what situation have I brought myself into, or what can I learn from it?
Yeah, that was really cool. And am I on, by the way, right now?
Go ahead, Noah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, there's so many interesting aspects, and I think that is a mystery of the universe, is the healing of the human body and the healing of the human mind. From my experience and just things I've read on certain healers throughout the history of time, I guess it's more that what's been so interesting is that it has nothing to do, first of all, with their physical abilities as much as it has to do with their spiritual mind state and their ability to transfer energy from themselves to another being. So sometimes it appears like, oh, that person's a healer, right? Like even in the stories, I guess, of people who are in the Christian tradition with Jesus and the things that he's able to do to people, it's not uncommon throughout history that people had those abilities, but it was more in their belief to be able to do it. And all of them would say that it's not me doing the healing. It's I guess the godly energy working through me to allow me to do things that transcend the logic of time and space and nature, which really relates to as well to the tree of life in certain aspects where there's a part of us that there's a part of us as being part of the infinite that has to play into the game of nature, into the game of physical reality and the limitations of that. But then there's part of us that is entirely transcendent of that. And I think that's where healing comes along, is just tapping into that part that is completely transcendent of the rules that we think we have to play by, and that ability to then heal the body through that breaking of that illusion that we can't do so much more than we can actually do. So these things don't surprise me, even from a rational perspective. It doesn't shock me. And now it's a reality. So whenever anyone talks about the future and our abilities to create, it's more like when we're ready for it. I believe there's no reason why we can't eventually be in 2 seconds. I could be from here to China in a split second. Don't tell me that's childish, because at the same time, 300 years ago, if me and my buddy John were sitting there and I told John I was going to pick up a rock and speak to China, he'd be like, you're nuts, dude. Or I'd be able to summon someone telepathically where I can see their body and their voice from another part of the world. That's serious. We're just using our telepathy. This is, the mysteries they go on and they're infinite.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I love what you just said. And speaking on that, like, I have some anger issues I deal with about the fact that I can't levitate. I'm really pissed. And, like, ever since I was 3, I saw Peter Pan, and I knew, like, the jig is up. Like, I need to be floating around. So,
right.
And the funny thing is, I know that sounds really silly. Probably not to you guys, but to everybody else, and people made fun of me. And I would get seriously angry. And I was like, no, you don't get it. This is so inefficient what we're doing. Now I'm going to be flying. And now I'm seeing there's freaking, like, they're making these hover cars. Like, VW came out with this thing, and they said that it has to have a grid, and I'm laughing. Like, of course it has to have a grid. Of course, because it's all a freaking grid. And I was so excited. And I love what you said. And one quick other thing, because I know other people want to talk. Something else that I think some people are going through, and I'll just touch on this very quickly. I know a lot of people have gone through this that I know. In being sick as well, I started having what felt like symptoms of radiation. And I was going, what the hell? Why do I feel like I'm in a microwave? And I mean, literally, there was a few days I was just in bed going, what's going on? And the intuitive message I got that several of my friends got, even when we weren't talking, was I think a lot of us are taking on a lot of, I don't even know how to put it, but it's like in an energetic way. We're taking on radiation in ourselves, and we are like, we're transmuting it. In a sense, we're almost, and it's good because like the planet has just been, as you guys know, it's been so inundated. I think a lot of us right now are literally helping to transmute that stuff on a level that we aren't completely aware of. And in the process, I think the radiation is activating stuff. So in a sense, it's kind of making us mutants. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking too much about it, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because I know, again, we're sensitive. When we all go through crap that nobody else understands, doctors can't diagnose. So I just wanted to throw that out there because that was something else I'd experienced too.
Oh, well, I think what you said, like, I mean, that's definitely worth taking note of. So thank you, Katie, for bringing that up. Yeah, like I think even going back to what you were saying with the levitation thing, for me, I mean, in terms of like a mystery of the universe, I love the idea of like how much is our inability to levitate simply because the people around us are influencing our belief system as to whether or not we are capable of levitating, which makes me wonder if you were to like take a person and lock them inside of a room with no other observer, would that increase the possibility of them actually being able to levitate? And I mean, I would say more likely than not, it would, which is, just a kind of well, maybe we'll have to like test that someday or something, but levitation is possible. I'm putting my money on that. I say absolutely. If we can do it in the dream realm, then in some way or another, we can do it in this realm.
Brendan, exactly. And like, if you go on YouTube, which, I'm sure you guys have done this, but, there are some videos of some monks just freaking levitating. I mean, like, it's amazing. And that's why, more respect to the Shaolin monks and all the monks of the world who do sit around and do that. And I loved it because there was this video I saw. They had this whole documentary where this guy went in Tibet and he was trying to find some monk. And forgive me, I think it's Tibet. I don't want to give wrong information, but he was trying to find some monk that levitates, and the guy's really reclusive and stuff. And finally he finds him. And the monk, he's cute little muffin. He was so sweet. He was like, well, I'll try, but I don't know what's going to happen. And I mean, Brendan, with exactly what you just said, that just clicked. Like, I think it's all about, like, the intention of the people around, or even, Jesus, which I don't like quoting the Bible too much, but he would tell people, because the exact same thing. Well, I can't heal you unless you want to be healed. I completely agree with you. And I hope that the more we're here and just holding the thought and just having that passion of I'm going to fly is literally helping everything manifest, even if we're not the ones that actually can put the science together. Because I'm not that smart.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. In case you missed some things, feel free to go back and rewatch all this, read it if you want. But let's start from the very beginning with angelic channeling. She was hired by a company, a music production company, to do angelic channeling. And I have to ask this question. Did you pay people to perform angelic channeling? Because if you paid people, if people came to you and paid money for you to perform angelic channeling, then I am accurate to say that you're a fraud, that you are a con artist, because I don't believe in angelic channeling. I don't believe in casting out demons. I don't believe in people telling you your future or using any sort of spiritual indigo power or ability, psychic abilities to reach out and talk to dead people or whatever it be. I find that area of New Age, of whatever you want to call it, to be a scam. That's just my personal opinion. If you did charge people for money to perform your angelic channeling, you, by definition, to me, are a con artist. But who knows? Next up, you had a inoperable tumor on your neck that was killing you. Now, you talk about this in your podcast, and you also talk about this in your videos. However, on your podcast, you kind of give a different explanation. You mention oxygen hydrogen therapy, and how that helped you with your tumor on your neck. But then on your videos on YouNow, you mention how you cured this inoperable tumor that was killing you with garlic and onions.
Joshy C, she, in quotes, cured cancer with herbs. I sure as fuck did. I really did. But if you want to get judgmental and rude about it, go for it. Like, I did actually, and it wasn't cancer. It was a tumor. It was a non-cancerous tumor. But go ahead and just keep making fun of me. Go for it. Herbs did I use? What did I use back then? I used garlic, onion. I literally used onion, olive leaf, golden seal. Oh God, I used several things back then. For my liver, I did dandelion. What else? What else was on my list? Oh, ginger. Ginger was one I used too. Like, I had a tumor on my neck, couldn't get rid of it for a year. I changed my diet, got on herbs, and then it shrunk. That's it. And I attributed that to the diet change and the herbs, the natural medicine. How do you think illnesses were treated years ago? Herbs are awesome. Exactly. Well, all medicine stems from fucking plants of some sort. Even chemo. Chemo comes from the soursop fruit. Or is it well, they said it's okay, this is what they told me. I remember they said that it's non-cancerous, but it was growing, and they were afraid that it could burst open or it could rupture, and it could do other damage, and that it was in a dangerous spot. That's what they had told me. See, by the way, this was years. Because of the fibro, it fucks with my memory. This was years ago. This was 2010. No, it was 2009. 2009, so this was 8 years ago.
And then you mentioned, this is what really confuses me, is that you mentioned in a blog, on your Tumblr blog, Miss Katie Smith, you talk about your tumor a bit, and you talk about how it nearly killed you. Specifically state that you used medicine and antibacterial fungi stuff to remove it. So which one is it, Katie? Did you perform oxygen hydrogen therapy to remove your tumor? Did you perform garlic and onion, which removed your tumor? Or did you use your medicine that you talk about in your blog, which now is completely deleted? When people started linking her Tumblr blog that she had, she deleted it, got rid of it completely. And rightfully so, because there's also mention in her blog of her archangel, Michael, who diagnosed her with symptoms. I don't know if you guys caught that when you were listening in the earlier segment, but there's a list of symptoms, a lot of symptoms that her archangel is telling her that she has. And this is where I have to ask questions. Questions does not mean that I don't believe somebody, it just means that I have to ask a question because things are inconsistent. If you have an archangel who if you have an archangel who gives you physical symptoms and tells you what's wrong with your body, can you not understand why people may doubt some of your claims about the health issues that you claim that you may or may not have? I'm simply presenting information that is already out there, and why people doubt the things that you say, and why that there seems to be a loophole and inconsistency in nearly every story and everything you claim about yourself. Whether that be Daddy of Five, whether that be Onision, whether that be medical issues that you've claimed to have, which, by the way, I'm not saying you don't have these things. I'm just saying that this is why people have doubt, is because you have a past riddled in the New Age movement. And what confuses me even more is that in 2006, you left the New Age movement, and then you came back 3 years later to the New Age movement. Don't believe me? IndigoSociety.com. She was a frequent poster on this web form, and she spent one of her first posts back to the website. It's me. I love it, and you do too. I love you, damn it, Miss Devic Doll. This is Joy Sparkles, also known as Miss Katie Smith, on her form. Hello, baby dolls, cutie pies, sweethearts, and muffins. I was led to this site, and after having a long 3 years of removing myself from the Indigo movement, I'm happy to return and announce my presence and say a big effing hello like this. Hello! I look forward to getting to know more people on this site. I'm cute, fun, funny, and always having a good time. You don't believe me? I don't care. I'm having fun. I can't wait to play with you all. Happy Indigo hunting, y'all! Here she also links her photo bucket, which also, if you go to that link, you can see that it is actually her right here. This is Kati Smith, also known as JoySparkleBS. At this point, let's go back to what I was referencing. So we have angelic channeling. She was hired by a company to do angelic channeling. She had an inoperable tumor on her neck, but she says in her Tumblr blog that it was an abscess on her neck, which is just, I'm confused by that, how it can go from a tumor on your neck, from an abscess on your neck. Which one is it, Kati? Which method did you use to heal this tumor? Because if you can truly heal tumors through the act of only using garlic and onions, then by all means, we're all doing something wrong with, doing surgery operations on people to get things off of their body. You also mentioned that you were into levitation. That's a huge one. The levitation segment of that video of you talking about that podcast, and then your friends go on to proceed about how levitation is possible.
And the second thing I wanted to make sure and say to everybody is no matter what you're going through with your body, and believe me, like I had a tumor one time that I had for a year on my neck that was killing me, but I was told it could not be operated on, I would die. If I didn't get rid of it, I'd die. I've had all these crazy things happen with my physical body. And I have learned from these experiences, you literally can heal anything.
No, you can't. There are certain things that you cannot physically heal, and I don't care what you say or what you claim. You cannot self-heal certain problems that people have. I don't believe that Jesus healed the sick. I just don't. You also mentioned in that podcast that we're all somehow being exposed to it calls this conspiracy 101. We're all being exposed to radiation. That we're all somehow mutants. Very interesting point that you mentioned there, that we're all being poisoned by radiation. This sounds very... I don't even know where to begin with that one, but let's just continue here. But the final thing is you also have another blog post where you talk about your childhood, you growing up, and you being a indigo child in great, great detail, talking about how you grew up with your mom, but most of all, how you, Kati Smith, are a psychic. At this point, I think people asking questions and doubting you about yourself are perfectly valid in giving you criticism. But here's the thing. People are going to respond, or maybe Joy will respond. I don't know. In Joy's defense, she could say, well, those things I used to believe, I no longer believe. And my response is, okay, you don't believe those things anymore, just like how I'm not a Christian anymore. Cool. But in your videos, you still say that you're a crazy New Ager, which makes me come to the conclusion that you still may have some New Age beliefs, and what the hell are those beliefs? I want to know, Joy. What New Age beliefs do you have? Because if these were your beliefs back in 2009 and you've truly changed and these no longer reflect who you are as a person, cool. I'm glad that you officially left the movement, came back to the movement, then left again. As silly as that sounds. But what I find most interesting about your past, Joy, is that you I haven't heard, from all the videos I've seen of you, you haven't talked anything about you being heavily involved in the Indigo movement. You've mentioned it a few times, but you've never talked about how you identified as an indigo child, how you identified as a psychic, how you believe in levitation, how you believe in self-healing problems, physical problems with yourself. And that's my big question is, why haven't you told your audience about this? Like, if you flat out made a video saying, yeah, I used to think I was a psychic, or I used to think I was an indigo child that could, have these special powers and such, so on and so forth, then I would give you a lot more leniency here. But the fact of the matter is you haven't talked about this, which makes me still think that maybe somewhere, someplace, you still hold these same beliefs, or maybe you don't. And if you don't, then by all means, what I'm saying here doesn't really matter that much, with the exception of why people are still casting doubt on your claims. I just want full transparency here, and that's why I'm asking questions, because these questions explain why people are doubting you and doubt the things that you claim about yourself. Now, a lot of people think that this video is all about, disproving or debunking her illnesses that she claims, because she does claim in quite a few videos that she's had mystery illnesses. And I'm not going to debate here on a YouTube channel, because I'm a mental health advocate, if she has fibromyalgia, or she has depression, or she has post-traumatic stress disorder, or she has borderline personality disorder. I can't diagnose these things. I won't diagnose these things, because I'm not a licensed person to do that. But what I can do is examine behaviors, and that's the crux of this video, is examining behaviors and inconsistencies that she herself has put out online. So let's take a look at some more, shall we? It is very important that I mention here is that just because someone self-diagnoses themselves does not mean that they don't actually have problems. If Kati Smith does have fibromyalgia, if she does have borderline personality disorder, if she does have these things which people are, arguing over the internet, trying to diagnose somebody over the internet, which I don't recommend people doing. But if you do have actual illnesses, Joy, I am in full support of you getting actual help for them. If you have fibromyalgia, I hope you get help. If you have mental health and depression, I hope you get help. If you have anxiety, which I truly believe you do, I hope you get help for that. I'm in full support of people getting help, but just because someone self-diagnoses themselves does not mean that they don't actually have problems. But one of the interesting things about Kati here, Joy, is that she claims that she's had copper toxicity. And this is something that I really want to go into detail about, because this is one of those things that does not make sense. Joy claims that she got copper toxicity from a form of birth control, also known as an IUD.
I suffer from copper toxicity as a result of the Paragard IUD. My birth control almost killed me. 6 months ago, I was almost dead. I didn't know what it was. I figured it out. I got it removed, but it's caused a whole lot of issues. I have fibromyalgia, which is awful. I have, and now I'm getting brain fog. It's part of the fibro. And you know, I know I did this before and showed you guys when I'm sick, but it's still really embarrassing. It is. It's hard. I think it's healing though, because I was so ashamed and hid for so long. So it's also healing. It's given me heart arrhythmias, lots of chest pain. I get fevers. The fevers aren't as bad anymore. Weakness, extreme weakness. I used to have blackouts. Well, almost. I would meditate. I would just get there and then I'd be able to meditate through it. I know that sounds weird, but I've just done a lot of years of meditation and self-healing on my body. I'd have collapses and I couldn't get up and I needed help walking. Mine started losing my vision. I started having near heart attacks, near strokes, near seizures. Very scary stuff. And 6 years ago, I got a copper Paragard IUD. IUD is an intrauterine device. It's a birth control. Basically, they insert it in your vagina, and this little T shape, and it has copper coils around it, and that's supposed to act as a spermicide. Sorry, I get exhausted and I start having chest pain, so I have to catch my breath. Okay, let me come back. Come on, brain fog. So copper T, this is gonna get really interesting. Maybe this is a bad idea. But it's a copper-shaped T they insert, and the copper acts as like a spermicide and prevents pregnancy. For 6 years, for the most part, it pretty much did its job. But the problem is that the copper, because it's in a moist environment, started to rust. And that, as a result, led to where I'm at now with being extremely ill. So this was about, 6 years ago I got this. About 4.5 years ago, I started getting really, really sick. It was around April 2013. I started having collapses and heart issues, and I didn't know what was going on. I went to the ERs, I went to doctors, nobody could figure it out. This progressively got worse. And it turned into fevers, constant fevers. I would have fevers for a week that just wouldn't go away. There were a lot of symptoms. A lot of it's just extreme weakness and extreme pain. So what you might not be able to see right now, because I'm really good at hiding it, I'm in a whole lot of pain and no pain medicine will touch it. The only thing that will help is CBD oil. That's cannabis oil. But I get really scared of cannabis oil because I don't like the, I don't like any properties of being high. Getting better. My doctors, when I finally got the diagnosis of fibromyalgia, I was told it's not curable. And I said, fuck you. First of all, don't you ever, I don't care who the fuck you are, don't ever tell somebody what they can and can't do with their body and with their health. That's bullshit. I'm of the mindset I can heal anything. I just have to meditate, pray, I have to program my body the right way with meditation, and I have to stay in a state of, and this is not religious that I'm talking about, but what I call prayer and faith, and affirmation, where I literally ask constantly, whatever you want to call God. I hate saying the word God because I grew up in a really crazy religious area where that was kind of a negative connotation, but whatever you want to call it, and I just ask for help and I ask for guidance. And I stay in that state and I wait, and slowly over the last 8 months, as I've gotten horribly, horribly sick, where I'm almost non-functional, the pieces have fallen into place with what's wrong with me. Every so often my body will dump copper. And what happens is that when the body stores any buildup like that, it'll store it in different parts of the body. One was my heart. My heart was really affected. I used to have horrible, terrible chest pain. I would fall on the floor. It was like my blood sugar and my adrenals were shot. And I would have really horrible back pain that would surround that. Thank God that's mostly gone. But it stores deep in your tissues, and your brain is one of them. And the thing is, the brain is a big electric organ. It's full of electricity. So when you have all this metal in it, it has to do crazy things and rewire. And I think that's part of, this is my theory, part of where the pain can set in, that and with inflammation.
Here's the thing about a copper IUD, Joy. There's not a single link between a copper IUD and copper toxicity. None, zip, zilch, nothing. There's no link between them. There's no scientific data, there's no medical data to showcase that this is a thing. At all. And it's not a thing, because with a copper IUD, there's protection around the little copper coil that's a very, 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 very small. There's a protection around that, so that it cannot be exposed to moisture, that it will not be exposed to oxygen. And you said repeatedly that, the copper rusted inside you. Copper doesn't rust. It corrodes, it oxidizes. Take, for example, and please don't do this, take a penny, which is primarily made, I think it was in the 1980s and 90s, pennies were primarily made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But a penny, it has a special coating on it. You can swallow a penny, and if you swallow that penny, it will come right out your asshole. Perfectly fine. You will not get sick from swallowing a penny, because there's a certain protection. It's the same type of protection that they use on the copper IUDs. It's designed so that any sort of liquid in the body will not expose that copper to oxidization or corrosion. I need to stress again, there's no scientific data at all medically that this is a thing. And if this was a side effect of copper IUDs having copper toxicity, it would be on every major birth control side effect you can possibly imagine. Not only that, but if you truly got copper toxicity from your copper IUD, Joy, I recommend you go to a professional health person and get that on a historical record for being the first person to gain copper toxicity from a copper IUD, because there's nothing medically about that. That's a thing. It's just not a thing. I'm sorry to disappoint all the people who believe this bullshit, but it's not a thing. Furthermore, Joy, if you truly have had copper toxicity, where's your copper rings in your eyes? That's a big giveaway if you have copper rings in your eyes. My other question is if you truly have copper toxicity, please show the medical documents. Just show the chart that you got a blood test, hair follicle test, a test in general, to show that the levels of copper that's in your body that you claim to have. I don't really consider that super personal information, just to show, a medical document claiming that you actually have high levels of copper in your body. Because if you do, they will have that on record that you had copper toxicity. And at that point, I'll be wrong. And I hope I am wrong, honestly. Joy, prove me wrong. Show me that you got copper toxicity. Because if you have what you're claimed, those copper levels, what's in your blood, they're gonna be off the fucking charts. That I know for sure. Not only that, but you conveniently say that your copper toxicity, left your body right before you tried the medication Lyrica, which is used to treat fibromyalgia. If you know anything about Lyrica and copper toxicity, that actually increases copper toxicity. It is highly dangerous to combine Lyrica if you are struggling with copper toxicity in your blood. Like, a doctor would not prescribe you Lyrica if you actually had copper toxicity, but it just so conveniently your copper in your body just magically, wore away right before you tried that medication.
Let's get it. So, my Lyrica, which was written out so I could remember how and when to take it, but I've stopped taking it because it stopped working. Let me show you the pills. You can see me pouring them, so there's no fucking conspiracy. You can tell this is Lyrica. You can look that up if it's blurry. I've done this before. Don't know if you guys can see it. I'm sure that one of the fucking edgelords will take this and put it everywhere, as they always do. People are saying, how can you have fibromyalgia and copper toxicity? Because Lyrica is really bad for copper toxicity. When I went to the doctor that gave me these, at that point I said, I don't think the copper toxicity is affecting me that much, but I haven't been retested. To which the doctor said, let's go ahead and try this. So because I told the doctor I don't think it's much of an issue anymore, and I asked if it should be an issue with any of the meds that they gave me, because it wasn't just Lyrica, I was told, no, it should be fine. That makes me the world's biggest liar, right?
And I'm not sure if you guys have noticed thus far in this video, but You notice through the blog, the podcast that she was on, and the videos, a lot of videos that she's made, she always talks about how she's almost always dying. 2006 she almost died, 2007 she almost died, 2008 she almost died, 2009 she almost died, 2010, and all the way up to almost current day, motherfucking 2016, she almost died. Like, I've never seen somebody go through so many almost dying experiences. So Joy, Katie, I ask you a question. What is the truth here? Did you ever have copper toxicity?
Because that's been an issue as well.
Yeah, this says me look.
I'm not upset with you. I'm upset with your GM who apparently can't speak politely to me now, doesn't know where my keys are, as well as can't make a phone call. Yeah, I see you looking at me. Your job is to deal with people that are upset. That's what you are paid for, and that's what you scam people for. Nobody else will even look at me. The GM has been exceptional. You are paid to deal with this. How much is he paid? I know a GM salary at a dealership. What, 80, 90, 100,000? You are paid to fix problems. You are paid to make sure your staff does what they're supposed to do. If I have been talking to and literally within the first few months, all of these issues, and they knew it. I'm so mad. And now apparently the work hasn't fully been done. When excelling the vehicle shakes and will not go faster, and then it says no work done.
I don't want to hurt anybody. Like, my biggest fear is hurting somebody's feelings or hurting somebody. I don't want to hurt anybody, and this is where I'm having a hard time.
I'm not upset with you. I'm upset with your GM who apparently can't speak politely to me now, doesn't know where my keys are, as well as can't make a phone call. Yeah, I see you looking at me. Your job is to deal with people that are upset. That's what you are paid for, and that's what you scam people for.
So Katie has a meltdown live streaming on YouNow, which is of course deleted, of her having a meltdown. I'm accurate to say that, screaming at employees at a car dealership because she was getting her car fixed. Which leads me into some questions. Katie, Joy, you talk about being homeless, right? In your videos, you've mentioned that quite a few times.
Bitch, you don't know me. You are talking to somebody who has lived in ghettos, who's lived in trailer parks, who's lived in their car alone. I have been homeless more times in my adult and in my later teenage years than I have actually been housed.
And with your claim to homelessness, you also filed for bankruptcy, and there are records to showcase that you have filed for bankruptcy here. But I'm confused, and this is where I need to ask another question. You claim that you're homeless, you file for bankruptcy, all the while buying a $15,000, I don't know if it was used or if it was new, 2013 Ford Fiesta. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm sure a lot of homeless people would love to have their own car. Just saying. I don't know why you filed for bankruptcy here. But it makes me ask questions, and I find it really fishy on how somebody can buy a car that's $16,000 worth, and then file for bankruptcy. That just is very, very weird to me, and I would like to know the context of the full, situation here, because to me, I don't really think that's how filing for bankruptcy works. You don't buy a car and then file for bankruptcy after you've spent $15,000 that you could have used elsewhere. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I just find the act of filing for bankruptcy to be very, very fishy and suspicious when you claim that you're homeless. Trust me, a lot of homeless people would love to have their own car to drive and have their own, insurance and have a driver's license and all those things.
I have a roommate who is wonderful, but he's not going to be around forever. I have a handful of friends that are scattered throughout the world that would love to help me in my position and can't. I can't get insurance or Medicaid because I can't afford it or I don't qualify for whatever the fucking reason that I'm still not sure of.
Joy, your state offers you free health care if you're truly as broke as you claim that you are, and that you can't afford anything, and that you can't work, and that you just want to live and leech off of your roommate, gathering all these medical expenses. Why don't you apply for Sooner Care? If you're truly as broke as you claim, then I think you would qualify. This is for your state. Let's move on to the next segment, and that is in regards to a response she did on YouNow regarding me, which I don't understand why she even made this live stream regarding me, but I think it highlights a few things I just need to point out.
You're doing this for attention, for money, and for people to look at you. This is why you've said in several comments, several times, you've highlighted, she's gonna make 100 videos about me. You're not worth it. You're not. I don't care. But here's the thing, in your video, You said if somebody has an issue, come to you in private, but you had me blocked for a long time.
This is the type of mental gymnastic, word-twisting person that Joy Sparkle is. She said that I said in my video for people to come to me in private. But if you actually go to my original video, no place did I say for people to come to me in private. This is what I originally said. Not surprisingly, if you actually took the time to do a little bit of research about me, or even asked me about this, I could have clarified for you. All I said is if he wanted context on the full situation, that he could have came to me and asked me. That's it. I never said people need to come to me in private. They don't. No place have I said that. This is where these mental gymnastic games in, is because Joy is so stupid that she can't comprehend basic sentence structures that people say. If I say, you could just talk to me, she'll spin that into this whole spiel about how I told people that I want people to come to me in private when I actually have never said that in my original video. It is little inconsistencies like this, Joy, that make people go fucking crazy. This is why people don't like you. You're on the same level of inconsistency as good old Greggy Poo. And I give you credit, Joy, it's clever. It's clever how you can twist really basic things that somebody says and make them out to be a lot worse than they actually are. And trust me, I'm going out of my way in this video not to twist anything. Everything I have talked about, everything I've showcased for the most part is linked down below. You can watch it in full, you can see the full contexts.
And you keep hyping this big video and saying you're not in it for the views or money while selling your fucking feet and dirty underwear. And look, no disrespect. You hustle the way you need to. I'm saying don't be a hypocrite. Don't.
I really don't see the relevancy of that comment regarding my underwear or socks. What does that have to do with anything? How does me selling that make me a hypocrite? The fact that I get Amazon gift cards for doing something really, really easy that's completely innocent and does nothing? I mean, hell, I've already upgraded my computer with an M.2 drive just by taking photos of my feet, and I think that's awesome. If I can upgrade my computer monitor, now I have triple displays, just by taking photos of my feet and socks? What the hell is wrong with that? To you to even mention that just goes to show that you're trying. You may say that you're not, no shade, no shit to you that you're doing that. Well, if that's true, then why would you even mention that? That's not, using that as an argument is not an argument. The level of your ability to actually debate, Joy, is astronomically depressing. Like, it pains me to see how you argue and how you debate with people.
No, but what's happening right now is I'm a hot topic to hate. Because when you put my name in a title, it gets views. The problem, though, for you guys that dislike me for any possible reason, no matter if it's real or not, is that I now don't care. I don't care. But I find it really sad that to get to me, you would try to go through a good friend of mine. Like, that's gross. It's creepy. It's creepy behavior.
Oh my god. Oh, Lord help me. Seriously, Joy? I went through a friend of yours to get to you? At this point, you're doing conspiracy theories again, Joy, Katie. This is crazy. This is crazy, 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 crazy behavior right here. I made a response to your friend Mikey because he made a video about me first. He made a video about me first. And he used a clip that was not fully presented in the full context, and he tried to spin it in a way to make me look like I support people's channels being terminated and faults DMCA'd and so on and so forth. And I don't support that under any circumstance, unless it qualifies for actual, copyright infringement or privacy is actually being violated. I've made this so abundantly clear, but because I made a response to a friend of yours who made a response to me first, and I respond to him and I mention you, I think twice in a whole entire 30-some minute video, I made a response to get to you through him? No. My video wasn't even really about you. It was simply, I mentioned you twice. And this is what I'm talking about, her mental twisting gymnastics game. This person's crazy. You can't have a normal conversation with them. They can't even watch a video by you without going all nutso with conspiracy theories.
What you are doing, creeping in my comments and making so many tweets about me, is creepy and hypocritical. While screaming how many videos I'm gonna make, how many tweets have you been making about me, slandering me, threatened to put me down?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's stop right there. Joy, where have I slandered you? Because that's a big accusation. As far as I'm aware, I haven't slandered you. I don't go out of my way to slander anybody. Is not believing some of the claims you make, is doubting you, is being skeptical of claims that you've made on your YouTube channel, is that slander? Because if I recall, I haven't accused you, other than the fact of I think that you've lied about a lot of things. I haven't really accused you of anything other than me not believing you, and I think that in certain things you've lied. That's it. You, on the other hand, Joy, have tweeted about me claiming that I've committed insurance fraud. Now that, my friendo, is a big claim. Now, here's the thing. I don't care if you fucking slander me. I really don't. But what you've said here on publicly on Twitter, that I've committed insurance fraud, that does fall under defamation. And you're really lucky, Joy, that I'm not somebody who really gives a shit about people who try to defame me. I really don't. But I think it's important that I address this just to show how much of a full of shit you are, Joy. So Joy claimed that I've committed insurance fraud, and what she's referencing is a video that I did back years ago called Respect It. Now, I've talked about this. You can go to the video right here on my channel. This gives you full detail. But this was when I was 19, had a family loss. I was not taking my medication because I'm clinically depressed. And at that time, when I was 19, I was on medication. I didn't take my medication because family loss, and I wasn't in the right mental mindset. And I uploaded a video on my side channel talking about how I'll probably be dead by a particular age. The thing is, I'm still alive. I'm alive and well. But in that original video, I said that, hey, I'm going to take a life insurance policy out, and then if I kill myself, my parents will inherit money from me. Yay! The problem is that I'm alive right now, and I don't have a life insurance policy. I took one out, only for a year, and then I got rid of it. Because I realized that if I did commit suicide, and there is a statement on the internet that I took out a life insurance policy and that I'm suicidal and I'm going to take my life or whatever, then yeah, I would be committing insurance fraud, damn straight. But the fact of the matter is I don't have an insurance policy. I'm still alive, which completely contradicts the claim that I even committed insurance fraud. Even if I did have insurance policy, I'm alive past the date that I said I would be dead. So by definition, that is defamation. To claim somebody's committed insurance fraud, that's a huge claim to make. And it's one that's not substantiated with evidence other than a statement that I said when I was 19, where I've already discussed and said that I don't have a life insurance policy, and I don't. So how can I commit fraud if one, I'm still alive, and two, I don't have a life insurance policy? That's beyond me. But we should know Joy by now. She doesn't actually research anything regarding my content and stuff that I've already addressed. Joy, you can keep digging your fingers in the dirt as much as you want, but I assure you, there's nothing new to expose me on. There's nothing new that hasn't been addressed already publicly by me. You, on the other hand, haven't addressed a lot of the stuff in your past. And that's why I asked the question, why? Why haven't you addressed that you believe we all have radiation poisoning? Why haven't you addressed that you could levitate? Why haven't you addressed that you were a psychic? Why haven't you... Why haven't you addressed that you had a archangel give you symptoms of physical problems that you were having? Why haven't you addressed this, Joy? That's what I want to know. I'm asking you a sincere, genuine question. Why have you not addressed that? And you're right, the past is the past. But if past behaviors are still being exhibited in the future, currently, at this current day on your YouTube channel, which I believe they are, fans of yours, non-fans of mine, whoever on the internet question you is not wrong in doing so. They're perfectly valid considering your past. That's what I want you to understand, Joy. Understand why people doubt. Understand why people are skeptical of your claims. Now, no place in this video have I claimed that you don't have an illness. No place. And I'm not going to claim you don't have an illness. I think the only thing I've mentioned in this video thus far is that I don't believe your claim regarding copper toxicity. And I've already said, if you want to disprove me on that, please do. Show me your high copper levels that were in your bloodstream from your copper IUD that you claim to have. And if you can show me that you had above average copper levels that was killing you, that was poison, that was seeping through your brains, I will say publicly on Twitter that I was wrong. I want to be wrong for the sake of this goddamn video. I would like to be wrong, and I mean that. What I want from you, Joy, most of all, whether this is the future of your YouTube channel or you completely stop YouTube, I don't know. I want you to be consistent. People are getting fed up with your bullshit. The bullshit in your name reflects you. I say that not to be insulting or mean or misogynistic. I say that because you made a dramatic, I'm leaving YouTube goodbye video that got a lot of people concerned. I watched that video in full. Yeah, okay, Joy, you're leaving YouTube because of your health problems. Then, 3 days later, you're, excuse me, I don't know, I just ate a big meal. 3 days later, you come back to YouTube. The real reason I'm coming back to YouTube is, well, to pay for my medical bills, which is fine, Joy. I don't care if you're using YouTube revenue to pay for your medical bills. I really don't care. But the fact of the matter is that you're so blind to why people are showing these inconsistencies to you, and your response to them is your typical tactic that you use, which is why that's why I never want to talk to you privately in DMs on Twitter, because that's what you do with people. You say, come on, sweetie, come on, DM me on Twitter, DM me, talk to me in private, DM me. No, I'm not gonna do that because I know your spiel. I've seen conversations of people who I know who have talked to you, and you respond the same way. I'm confused. I don't understand. I'm confused. I don't understand. You get people in your DMs and you try to explain and justify every type of inconsistency, but rather than do that, I think that you should do it publicly. Address these inconsistencies. You don't even have to respond to me. I don't want a response from you. I just want the inconsistencies that I pointed out, that hundreds of thousands of other people have pointed out regarding you, to be answered. That's it. And if you can't do that, then don't act surprised when people call you out for your bullshit. The truth will always expose itself. It will seep through the cracks in some way, and you have to be ready for that, Joy. And if you're not, the internet has a mind of its own. They will crack down, they will find the problems, they will find the inconsistencies, and they will respond in a much more damaging way than simple criticizing of one's behavior. And I want to make something abundantly clear yet again before this video ends. I support Kati getting any help that she needs regarding any actual illnesses that she has been diagnosed with, and I mean that. I also don't support people doxing one another. Don't give out personalized information, addresses, phone numbers. Please do not do that. But at the end of the day, Joy, your bullshit will reveal itself over time. And all I ask is for the future of your channel is to be consistent in your stories, is to be consistent in your claims, and if you have claims to make, back that up with evidence. That's all. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, all of the links that are referenced in this are linked down below, with the exception of her her filings of bankruptcy. I'm not going to link that because there actually is personal information on there that I'm not going to link. However, if you did like this video, feel free to check me out on Patreon, patreon.com/Mr. Repzion. I hope you guys enjoyed this very, very long video. I apologize for the delay. I know people are a little bit upset that the video didn't come out on the day that I promised, but I also said publicly that there could potentially be a delay, and there was. Family comes first, and I've been putting them as a priority, as I rightfully should be. Hope you guys enjoyed this long-ass video. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time in my next video sometime next week. Peace out, guys.